We are live here at Walt Disney World, and this is really my favorite part of Disney World, to be quite honest. I'm not so much a theme park guy.
I do like the parks, but I'm not a Disney obsessed person by any means. We are at Walt Disney World in their Fort Wilderness campground. It's their on-site campground.
I had to say, I do love the campground. The campground is beautiful. Groups have named Fort Wilderness Campground as top RV resort in the country, and when you stay here, you can see why. It's a beautiful space. I mean, you can see our Airstream and truck back there, but look behind us, natural forest. You know, this is a very mature park, meaning like the landscaping is really thick and lush. There's a lot of wildlife around here. We've seen deer, we've seen wild turkey, we have seen armadillos.
Yeah.
We've even seen chihuahuas.
Oh, look at that chihuahua.
The fierce chihuahua. So we're just going to show you our campsite, talk a little bit about Fort Wilderness.
Answer any questions if you have any questions.
Yeah, and field your questions as always.
Or if you have any tips you'd like to share about Disney or Fort Wilderness or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment and let us know.
I want to stroll around the campsite and just kind of show you what it's like down here. Now, these campsites are not terribly cheap. We came down here about 10 years ago, and Fort Wilderness was really kind of a deal, I thought. In those days, you could get a campsite at times in the $45 to $50 range. The price is pretty much double that these days. So even if it's not a great deal, it's still a great place to stay, and it's still a pretty nice deal.
Somebody's wanting to know, how crowded is it right now, or are the mosquitoes bad? Well, one, no, there's no mosquitoes right now. It gets pretty chilly at night, I would say in the mid-40s. And then as far as how crowded it is, we tried to extend our stay, and Saturday night is completely booked. So there are no sites for Saturday night. It's busy on the weekends, you know. I think during the week, it's not completely crowded.
Okay, somebody asked, are we in a preferred or premium spot? We are in a premium. Yeah.
Right now.
We ponied up for the premium.
Yeah.
And as far as the difference in those sites, I don't know exactly, except I think premium may be a little bit larger and they get you a little bit closer to the water. Mm-hmm. And at the water, of course, there's a beachfront recreation area, but also the transportation, which is critical because you can hop on a boat and go to the Magic Kingdom from here. And you could also go to some of the different resorts, like Wilderness Lodge.
You can go to the Contemporary.
Yeah, Contemporary.
Somebody wants to know if it's full hookup. Yes, it is full hookup. They actually even have cable if you want it. They have one loop that is not full hookup, or I guess a couple of loops that are not full hookup. And those are called their tent sites. You can put a small pop-up on those sites. So those do not have sewer hookups because I guess most pop-ups don't have a sewer tank, so they don't need it. So the tent and pop-up sites do not have sewer, but everywhere else is full hookup.
I just want to show you the site. So I'm stepping away from our Airstream right now, and you can see there's some kids riding their bikes. Just a great campground. I mean, there's a lot of things to do here in the campground. You could stay here and enjoy yourself without ever going into the theme parks. I mean, they have horseback riding, they have movies every night, I think.
They have campfire sing-alongs, they have games all day at the pool. There's a beachfront here where you can rent boats, you can rent like little, they're not Sea-Doos or that sort of thing, but it's like a little two-person speedboat. You can rent those. You can go parasailing, all sorts of things like that. So one benefit of staying at Fort Wilderness is it's considered, you know, a Disney resort. So you get all the benefits of staying at a Disney resort. You get all the bus transportation if you want that. You get to take part in the extra magic hours at the different theme parks, which are extra hours that are open just for Disney resort guests. You know, those are pretty good perks to have, and it's a really nice campground.
Jim Pratt asks if it makes sense to book in advance. Yeah, for this campground especially.
This campground is hard to get into, and especially on the weekends. If you're coming during the week, I think you have a better shot of getting in, but definitely on the weekends. We've tried to extend our stay, and Saturday night is completely booked. And we told them we wanted to be put on a waiting list, and we haven't heard anything yet. It's been 2 days.
Adam says he's planning a Fort Wilderness trip in 2019. Well, you need to book those reservations now.
You're smart, Adam, to plan in advance.
But you know, a lot of people come down here and stay a long period of time. I mean, like there's some people who are really enthusiastic about camping at
They'll
Disney
come and
World.
stay for a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's about $100 a night, but you know, for a lot of people, it's worth it because it is a really, really nice place. Mm-hmm. And Rick says it sounds nice coming from cold Michigan. Yeah, the temperature today was around 72 degrees, sunny. It was hot. I mean, you really needed to be in shorts and a very light shirt.
Yeah. But Tuesday, it was really cold and you needed a jacket and you needed long pants because it was super windy and it was about 40 degrees outside. I think there's a little bit of a weather fluctuation, you know, when you're here this time of year, so you sort of have to be prepared for colder and hotter. Bill wants to know what we're doing paying $100 a night at Disney when we don't have kids. Well,
we do have a Chihuahua.
We do have a Chihuahua. We do have a YouTube channel with a lot of people that are interested in it. And my family was here this week, staying over at the Contemporary with my niece, and my parents came, and so my brother and sister were here, so we had our whole family here for the week. So they actually left tonight. So.
Yeah, we're really kind of here for you guys. Believe it or not, I'm here for you guys because
I have to drag him here kicking and screaming.
I'm not a theme park guy. I mean, I like some of the rides and so forth, but you know, I could sort of take or leave the theme parks, if I'm being quite honest. But we want to be able to advise you what to expect when you come down here, and it had been a while.
Yeah.
Now, somebody asked us about the bathhouses.
Or
and
said
the
to
bathrooms.
tell how nice the bathhouses are.
Yeah, we know how nice the bathhouses are because we've been forced to use them because
we had a little sewer hose problem.
And it took us about 3 days to get that worked out. So
so we finally got our adapter part in. FYI, if you have an Airstream that's a little bit older, you're going to need a Thetford to Valterra connector adapter to use a new sewer hose. So we had to wait on that to come in. So for 2.5 days, we couldn't shower in our rig, so we had to walk all the way down to, you know, the bathhouse. It's a very nice bathhouse. It's super clean, very spacious. They do an excellent job with it because it's Disney.
We're gonna stroll behind our Airstream just because I want to show you this part of the campground. It's really quite interesting because not too many RV parks or RV resorts, whatever you want to call it, that have this kind of natural environment around the campsite. So there's a dog trail back here. You can walk your dog along this trail behind me, and a lot of people do. But on this trail and in this area, we've seen lots of different types of wildlife. Deer, wild turkey, armadillo, and no telling what else is back here. But it's really a beautiful space. And I believe Fort Wilderness has been part of the Disney apparatus from day one. In other words, this isn't really a new development. They developed this back in the 70s originally, I believe, but they did a great job with it. You know, Disney is not constrained in terms of land. They got plenty of land. You know, most RV resorts don't have that luxury of having so much land. So, you know, the sites are, for the most part, quite private. The landscaping is nice and thick so that, you know, in some situations you can barely even see your neighbor. So you get really a nice camping experience here. You know, today we had lunch just at the picnic table right next to our Airstream. And in fact, we've taken most of our meals at our Airstream on this trip. And actually that makes a pretty good argument for Fort Wilderness being a pretty decent deal because you can stay here at the campground, you could have your meals at your RV, and then just hop on the boat to get over to Magic Kingdom, or you can drive your vehicle into the resorts, and it's a really relatively short, easy drive to get to Epcot or Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. Ralph asked if there's any problem with bugs. We've had pretty much zero problem with insects. I mean, this is a great time of year to be in Florida from an insect standpoint. Not too many insects. The weather today couldn't be any better. Adam asked, how much money is this a night? I think we are paying $115 or something like that. That's including tax. And we have the premium site. Like, we sort of splurge. The basic site is about $30 cheaper. The premium site gets you, I think, a larger site, and it's a little bit closer to the transportation, which is key because there's not really parking for your tow vehicle or anything by where the boats take off, and we're close enough that we can just walk to the dock to hop on a boat to get to the parks. Gary Shield says, can you talk about no fires? Can you use a propane pit?
You can use a campfire pit, but it has to be one that has a lid over the top of the fire, so it can't be just an open flame. It has to have a screen over it, or be one of those that's, you know, like contained inside a little square. I don't know how to explain that, but it has to have a screen over the top of the flame. It can't be just an open flame.
You do have a little charcoal grill. I think each site has one of these. This one has seen better days, frankly. It's a little rusty, but I guess they can probably get another season or two of use out of it. Somebody asked about how close to the wine store. You know, I can answer that question from personal experience. There are some grocery stores and so forth just right outside sort of this Disney World apparatus complex, whatever you want to call it. And it's probably about 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive.
Yeah, it's probably a 10 or 15-minute drive to get to a real standalone grocery store where you can buy anything. As far as some essentials, they have 2 areas here within the park called trading posts, and you can sort of buy the basics. Of course, it is very expensive because you're on Disney property, so keep that in mind, but you can buy beer and sodas and some bread and chips and stuff like that. Basic campground general store kind of stuff. Oh, they were asking if we were going into the parks. We are going into the parks. We've been in the last couple of days. And if you want to see more on being in the parks, follow our Instagram account. If you go to Instagram, we're just Long Honeymoon. And we are posting on our Instagram stories there pretty frequently. So you can see all the fun activities that we're doing in the park, some of the fireworks shows and stuff like that.
So we're going to step inside our Airstream.
All right.
Now we've moved to the interior portion of our little chat.
Yeah, so now we're in our camper. And again, if you guys have any questions about Fort Wilderness, we'll be happy to answer them for you if we can. Somebody wants to know if there are gators walking around. Not in the campground, but they are in the lake. So they warn you about that. Pretty much anywhere you go in Florida, if there's a lake, there are going to be alligators. It's just the landscape down here. It's their native environment, so you just got to be ready for that.
We have not seen any gators, but when you get on the boat and ride over the Magic Kingdom, you'll realize how substantial that lake is out there, and there's just so much water. We're in Florida, there are going to be gators. Let's say John asks, are there hookups for sewer, or do you get pumped out? This is full hookup campground, so they've got water, sewer, and electric. Everything is just first class here.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not a huge Disney guy, but when it comes to the campsites, they're level, they're well paved, they're well laid out, they're cleaned after every
Yeah, they actually come
guest.
and clean the campsite after each guest, so that's really nice.
Yeah, like you're not going to show up to a dirty campsite here, and I can pretty much guarantee everything's going to work.
The bathhouses are really nice. They have really nice laundry facilities, and they have them in every single loop.
There's kind of a fun atmosphere here because there are a lot of people who really get into camping at Disney, and so they do a lot of decoration of their site. They'll put up a lot of lights. They'll put lights in the trees. They will put up inflatable Disney characters and that sort of thing around their site. So there's a certain spirit and camaraderie in the air when you camp here. We have some friends, and when their kids were small, they liked coming down here just to stay in the campground. They weren't even big on going and riding the rides in the theme parks, but they loved coming to this campground because there really is a lot to do. And of course, they have a swimming pool, they have a hot tub, they've got tennis courts, they've got all sorts of walking trails and dog walking trails, and then they have even horseback riding. You can rent a pontoon boat down at the water.
You can go bass fishing in the lake. You can go parasailing. They sort of have a little bit of everything around here.
Carrie says, do you get free theme park parking with your stay?
Yes.
I think you do. That's one of the benefits of staying on Disney property is that you can go to any of these theme parks and park for free.
I mean, and normally parking is $20 a vehicle. So if you're staying at Fort Wilderness, you can drive your truck or toad or whatever you've got to the theme park and park for free. And actually, if you are early on the day you're checking in, or you want to go to a park the day you're checking out, you can go and park your rig at the theme park as well for free. They also have an overflow parking area here. So if you got here early for your check-in, or you check out one morning and you still want to go to the parks, but you don't want to tow your entire rig to the theme park, you can actually leave it in a parking lot here right by the check-in area. They've got a secured parking lot, so you have to be a registered guest to get into the parking lot. And you can leave your motorhome, you can leave your travel trailer, your fifth wheel, whatever, in the parking lot there while you go into the parks. And you can leave it there until the parks close that night. So whatever time the latest park closing is, so if it's 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you can leave your rig there until that time, and then you got to pick it up and move out.
Audra Morcos asked about snakes and whether there are snakes down here. We haven't seen any snakes, but there've got to be snakes.
Yeah, they actually, when you check in, they give you a little pamphlet that warns you about alligators and snakes. I'm sure they're just covering their, backsides with that one. But yeah, be on the lookout.
Clyde says Fort Wilderness is the only 5-star RV park in the U.S. I don't know if it's the only one, but I can't think of one that would be much nicer than this. I mean, This is because most RV parks, they simply don't have this much land. This
is sort of like the size and feel of a national park campsite as far as the landscaping goes and the maturity of the trees, but it has all the full hookups of an RV resort.
That's what makes it kind of a pleasant surprise. I mean, you might not know what to expect when you come to stay here, but I would say it feels like a pretty authentic camping experience. Like you can come here, camp here, and you're going to see natural wildlife, and you're surrounded by, native, lush Florida landscaping. You feel like you're camping in a Florida forest.
So somebody wants to know what the campground rate range per night is. For this week, when we've been here on the website, when I was booking this, the range was from $86 a night to $104 a night. And of course, that's before tax. I think there are cheaper times of year to come here. I think if you come in the heat of summer, it's cheaper. I think the cheapest you're going to find it is for a basic campsite, which is for a tent or a pop-up, which means there's no sewer, and I think that rate is like $53 a night. And that's the cheapest it will ever be all year long. The most expensive it will be during the holidays, I think it gets up to around $150, $160 a night, because Christmas time here is crazy.
And it's probably booked solid. Like, you have to book well in advance.
Yeah.
To pay your $150.
So we're paying right at about $100 a night this week. You do get all the benefits of being at a Disney resort. So you get to use all of the Disney transportation if you want to. If you want to drive your own vehicle, you get free parking at the theme parks, which is normally $20 a day. So that's a big savings. You also get access to Disney's extra magic hours. So what that is every day a different theme park is open for either earlier or longer that day, only for Disney resort guests. So the campground is considered a Disney resort, so you get to take advantage of those benefits.
Extra magic hours are actually pretty important because we're kind of night people anyway.
Yeah.
And it's nice because there are so many fewer people in the park. That means really short waits for all the different rides.
Yeah, so you can ride more rides, especially the bigger thrill rides that have longer waits during the day. You've got a better shot of getting on.
Ken says, for $100 a night, I would hope everything is well taken care of. Yeah, no kidding. It's an expensive campground. In fact, I told Christy this is probably the most we have ever paid for a single campsite ever. Yeah. That we've been doing Long Honeymoon, for more than a decade. So it ought to be nice. But it is. So I can't complain about the campsite.
Let's see. Campfire Sing-Along with Chip and Dale are one of the few free places to meet a character without getting into the parks or doing a character meal. Wow, that's a great tip, Morgan. If you are here with little kids, character meet and greets are a big deal, and they can be a major time suck because
they can be a money suck,
and they can be a money suck too, because if you do it at a dinner, the dinners are usually very expensive. Or if you do it in the park, of course you had to pay to get in the park, and usually there's a very long wait.
We've heard some of those character dinners, they're very expensive and for very poor quality food. You're really paying that money so that the child can interact with the character in that environment. But here at Fort Wilderness, you can meet Chip and Dale.
Yeah, I like Chip and Dale.
Yeah,
they're so
I like
cute.
Chip and Dale.
Thanks for the tip, Morgan. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Brad says the Disney Equestrian Center is on the Fort Wilderness premises as well. Wonderful tour with beautiful horses. That's a great tip, too, because we haven't done that tour. We have seen the horses on the property.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They have horseback riding here that you can do. They have trail rides that you can do. Horse-drawn buggies that you can pay to ride in the horse-drawn buggy. They also have a horse-drawn hayride that goes around through the park.
And there's also a yellow-bellied wookalar on the premises that you can ride bareback.
Yeah,
Let's see. And actually, there's a musical review here. It's called the Whoop-de-Doo Musical Review. Hoop-de-Doo. Mary asked, do you have to book a year in advance? Not really, but it probably depends on the time of year. I mean, we didn't book this thing a year in advance. We booked it a few weeks in advance, if that. But
yeah,
but it depends on the time of year.
I think if you're coming over the weekend, like a Saturday night is hard to get, but during the week, if you're sort of flexible with your dates, I think you can get worked in.
That's true. We are getting kicked out on Saturdays. Judy asked if you visit what used to be called Downtown Disney. Now, I always liked Downtown Disney. Now it's called Disney's Springs. I don't know.
We used to love Downtown Disney because they had some really good like nightclubs. They had one called the Adventurers Club that was really cool, and of course they had some dance clubs and stuff like that, which whatever.
Yeah, I loved the Adventurers Club because
Yeah.
it was kind of a throwback. Of course, they've gotten rid of it.
Yeah, it's
all
totally
these things that
gone
I
now.
like,
All
they
the
get
cool
rid
stuff
of.
is gone. So now it's a bunch of shopping and restaurants, which is still nice.
Bit by bit, they're erasing everything I used to like about these parks. I mean, they just do it one little thing at a time. They still have rum in Pirates of the Caribbean, but you watch another 5 to 10 years, they're going to be drinking, I don't
Orange
know.
juice.
Yeah,
Florida
orange
orange
juice.
juice.
So they'll be drinking purified water with electrolytes or whatever.
Okay, let's see.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, we would greatly appreciate it if you did. We are slowly creeping toward the 100,000 subscriber mark, and you can get us there. So go over there and click that little subscribe button. Somebody says, is it free for pets? No. It's $5 a night to have a pet at your site, but it's just a flat rate. So if you have multiple pets, they don't charge you $5 for each dog.
This little rascal.
It's just $5 flat fee.
$5.
It's well worth it. And we are actually near a pet walk area, so you'll see people walking their pets through there.
She's a real high impact dog. I mean,
She's scared of pine cones. Are you kidding?
Beth Manning. Hey, Beth.
Hi.
She asks, how long are we staying and are there off-season rates?
I think there are off-season rates, but this isn't considered off-season for the RV crowd.
Yeah, when you think about it, the season in Florida, I guess Disney is always in season. There's sort of regular season and there's high season. But in the winter, a lot of snowbirds come down here and stay for long periods of time. I don't think this campground is ever really cheap.
Jay Willis says, I grew up camping in Fort Wilderness with my parents when they took us as kids. Awesome place. Did you ever go to Tom Sawyer's Island, the water park? It's still next door. It's completely shut down, so it's sort of like abandoned. So I think that's really interesting that they haven't done anything with it to revive it, because it's there. It's like they could do something with it, but I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah, the swimming pool here is okay. It's nothing too special. And previously they had this Tom Sawyer themed swimming hole, but there may have been a few parasites in the water or something, so they got rid of it.
Let's see. Somebody was commenting on the Tom Sawyer's theme park and said they heard they haven't redone anything because of the bacteria.
Yeah,
We've heard the same thing, but I figured they would figure out how to enclose it and make it use, chlorinated water instead of the lake water, but I guess not. So Judy asked how far in advance we book our site. We only booked it about 2 weeks ago. Saturday night is the tough night. So if you are coming and you're having a hard time getting a reservation, if you can scoot your stay around so you don't have to stay on a Saturday night, your odds of getting a site, I think, are much better.
Beth asks, is there anything fun to do at night in the campground?
There's a lot to do. They have campfire sing-alongs that you can go join with Chip and Dale. And a friend of mine, Morgan, pointed out it's the only place where you can do a character meet and greet without having to be in a theme park or paying for a dinner. So that's nice. They also have movie night every night. So they have an outdoor projection screen that you can go watch a movie at. And during the day, they have the pool and they have all sorts of activities going on at the pool all day long.
So yeah, it's a fun place to come as a destination. You don't even really have to go into the theme parks if you don't want to.
Audra asked, how far is the doggy daycare from the campground? I would say once you turn out of the campground, it's 5 minutes. It's very close by. And they have doggy daycare just for the daytime, or you can have your pet spend the night if you want to. They have webcams that you can check in on your dog. So it's a really swanky dog daycare.
And we've actually been using a webcam to keep an eye on this one when we're away. And
Yeah.
it's been working pretty well. Joseph asked you, did you rent a golf cart and drive around to see the cabins and all? Well, we've seen the cabins. We have not rented the golf cart, but you can do that here, and that's a very popular thing to do. Now, we're close enough to the transportation. We're close enough to the waterfront with this premium site that we don't really need to take a bus.
Because it's
we
just
can
the
just
two
walk
of
over.
us. If we had a toddler, then I would say absolutely rent a golf cart, because it would be a long way for you to tote a toddler. And the further away your site is from the waterfront, you know, the further you're going to be from catching the boat or whatever and having to rely on the buses. And the buses, you know, they run, but you're going to wait. So if you don't want to wait, I think a golf cart to get around to the pool or the beachfront or whatever, you know, it's worth it. It's about $60 a day, I think, to rent one of those golf carts. Now, you are allowed to bring your own golf cart if you want to, if you happen to have a way to get it here. But you'll see them everywhere. Lots of golf carts in this area.
Yeah, it's very popular to do that. Clyde says the best time to go to the parks is the weekdays. Less people and shorter wait times. I agree completely. I'm an introvert. I don't like being in a crush of 1,000 people in these theme parks. But if we can go late at night in these extra magic hours and go during the week, then it's much more enjoyable to me.
Jay Willis asked another question, and he said, do they still do the ferry ride over to the Magic Kingdom? Yes, they do.
Yes.
So you don't have to drive to the Magic Kingdom. You can catch a boat here at the beachfront, and it will take you directly over to the Magic Kingdom, which is a great way to get there because it's fast, and they have their own security checkpoint, so you don't have to go through the big security line when you get to Magic Kingdom. Also, Campfire Jamboree. Yes, they still do that.
Well, Jason says that he stayed here in October, and their dog got out of their motorhome, and the camp workers were great help getting her back.
Aww.
Jay Willis says the trading post is awesome there, too. That's right. They do have kind of a little shop right here.
Yeah, just like a little, you know, general store type of thing. So,
Clyde points out that you can kayak here as well. I mean, they have
nice.
those activities right down there at the lakefront.
You can book Fort Wilderness sites 2 years in advance. Wow.
Scott says that some families have been known to book for 3 solid months over the holidays and have a storage facility in town to keep all their stuff here, I guess.
Wow.
So some people you can tell have been here quite a while.
Yeah, you can
because
tell
of the decorations and everything on their site.
Hardcore, yeah. Especially, I will say, we've been here before during October when they're doing all the Halloween stuff at Disney. And it's a really fun time to be in the campground because a lot of people decorate their sites for Halloween. And they go really over the top with the decorations. And we haven't been here during Christmas, but we've heard the same thing happens during Christmas. So there'll be people that'll have like full Christmas decor outside their RV. And it's really entertaining. And there are people here now, I mean, in January, February, that have decorations outside their site, all kinds of Disney decor and lights and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually just kind of fun to drive around the campground and look at all the decorations that people bring along on their trip.
Yeah, there's a real spirit to being here. I mean, you do get a little sense of...
Oh, Grumpy's
Disney
getting
spirit,
a little soft-hearted over here.
She says I should be grumpy dwarf.
He's a little grumpy. He's not a big theme park person, so...
I'm not a complete curmudgeon, but, and as I've said previously in this video, I'm not a huge Disney guy. I have no Mickey Mouse tattoos. I have no Mickey Mouse clothing. I could take or leave some of the theme park experiences, if I'm being honest. Mostly leave. I personally would rather, you know, probably be in a national park or something.
Yeah.
But this is a really nice RV resort. It's certainly one of the
nicest.
I would say one of the top 5 that we've stayed at in the country. I mean, because it's like it feels like an
really
authentic camping experience, and it's actually a little bit of a surprise, frankly, because so much Disney stuff to me, it doesn't feel authentic. It's not authentic because it's, you know, it's a ride. It's fake. You know, it's fake. But this campground, paradoxically, feels quite authentic and genuine.
Right.
So I really like coming here. And I still like Epcot. Even though there are parts of it that are kind of dated, I find there's some nostalgia in that to me. And I like the sort of cultural experiences that you can have at Epcot that are pretty unique. You know, I'd rather do that than go ride Dumbo's bilge barge or whatever it is. I don't know. Sorry.
April Strong Tatum says, y'all are my first RVers I subbed years and years ago.
Thank you,
you so
April.
much,
We
April.
appreciate it.
We greatly appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys are watching this video and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so. It means the world to us for you to join Loloho Nation.
Bud says there's a great large fenced dog park at one of the dog loops, or I guess camping loops here.
Yeah.
And they travel with 2 labs when they're Airstream, so that's a good thing. We'll take the Chihuahua out to run some laps.
Anna wants to know, do the buses stop at the campground? Yes, they do. You have full access to Disney transportation here. So you can take a bus to anywhere in Disney World. You can go to Disney Springs. You can go to any of the hotels, any of the theme parks. And then if you're going to the Magic Kingdom, you can actually take a boat. All those are available from the campground here.
Well, guess what, my friends? It's that time of day for you to say, head for the mountains.
It's well after 5 o'clock, so I think you're good to go.
It is.
At least here on the East Coast.
It's time for some fermented grape juice and more Disney magic.
Yeah. Here, let's get baby girl so we can sign off
Baby
and
girl,
say goodbye with
you're gonna
baby
come
girl.
up and say goodbye to
Say goodbye.
all of your friends here. With this one, the big risk is that she's going to break loose and just kill someone because she is a trained killer.
Trained killer.
We're completely blown away by the number of people that we reach through Long Long Honeymoon. And, you know, we meet you whenever we're out and about in different campgrounds, and it's always very enjoyable for us to meet you guys. It gives us a lot of positive feedback, except for the people who mock my hair, but I'll forgive that. So thanks so much for sticking with us through the years. We've been doing this for a long time.
Long time.
And we do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a lot of fun and
onward. What is it that Buzz Lightyear says? To infinity
And beyond.
Look for new videos coming soon. If you haven't already subscribed to us on the old YouTubes, be sure and do so.
yeah, and if you want to see some live video from our week here at Disney, be sure to go subscribe to our Instagram account or follow us on Instagram because we're posting a lot of videos in our Instagram stories that we wouldn't really post anywhere else. So you'll see some more little like everyday snippets from our adventures here in the campground and the parks.
That's right. On Instagram, you kind of get these little snippets that you just don't really get in any other platform.
Yeah, so our name on Instagram is just Long Long Honeymoon. So come follow us and join the fun over there.
Thank you guys. As always, what do we say?
Aloha.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Feel free to leave a comment. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.
Hey guys, if you like our videos, a great way to say thank you is to shop using our store on Amazon. You can find it at amazon.com/shop/longlonghoneymoon. You can bookmark this address and start your Amazon shopping there every time.
Everything you need for your next RV adventure awaits in our store. But you don't have to just buy camping gear. You can use our store to buy anything that Amazon sells.
When you go to our store, you begin a unique shopping session. For the next 24 hours, all the items that you add to your Amazon shopping cart will be credited back to Long Long Honeymoon. When you make a purchase using our store, we receive a small commission. We're reinvesting those commissions into the production of our show.
All purchases made in the Amazon store are completely private, so we have no idea who is buying what.
So if you're looking to buy a new banana slicer, you now know where to go.
Or a banana hammock.
I beg your pardon.
I mean, I'm just saying.